Hey guys, just want to share some more thoughts on the movie Bird Box after I've had a little more time to think about it. And my video review was basically me rambling about the plot and whatnot. But I said that I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I think that's a little too high, and I said it was too generous. But I have to work on my rating system if I'm going to continue that. But I'd say maybe it's more like a 7 or an 8. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 64% for the critic score, if you can see that. Um, go. I think that's probably a little bit too low. I mean, I'd maybe give it an 8, and maybe that's still generous, but I was looking at some reviews and different thoughts on it, and the reason why I do rate it high is because of the premise. It's because of the gimmick. It kept me interested. It's mysterious, and it's entertaining all the way throughout. You want to keep watching it, and the ending, the reveal isn't the greatest at all, but that kind of reminds me of the M. Night Shyamalan movies. And I said how I really like The Happening. It reminds me a lot of that. People say that it reminds them of A Quiet Place. I've never seen that. I don't know if I ever will watch it, but I don't think that this movie is ripping off either one of those, even though there's a lot of similarities there. I think it's original enough in its own way, and it is gimmicky though. It's the gimmick that gives it a good rating because the acting and stuff isn't all that great in it. I found out the older white guy in the movie is John Malkovich, which I don't even really know that well, except for the movie being John Malkovich, which is a great movie, which would be much better than Bird Box. I need to watch that one again. But, you know, and I guess Machine Gun Kelly's in it, some rapper, and he plays like the kind of tattooed thug guy. And I guess that the police, well, the woman who was training to be a police officer, whatever, she was Latino. I didn't realize that. So I talked about the diversity amongst the cast. All the people who are grouped together. There's black people. There's an obese woman. There's women, Latino, elderly, and stuff I'm probably missing. There's an Asian guy who was a homosexual. They haven't covered all the bases. And I said, I didn't know how I felt about that because Netflix has been known to do that. I mean, movies in general, there's propaganda, and there's just a lot of that going around now. But there's a lot of anti-white stuff, and I was looking up. When I was looking up Bird Box reviews and stuff, I came across this channel called The Squatting Slav, and he talked about how Bird Box is against white men or whatever. It's like downgrading whites, and I think there's some truth to it. And this is what I didn't really realize. I focused on how that there's all this diversity amongst all the people that are grouped together, that the survivors, but I didn't think about the villains in the movie. And the thing is that like all the villains, as far as I know, are white. They're mostly white males, and most of the white males in the movie are like pretty much like bad guys. I mean, there's the older guy, John Malkovich, who they make him kind of a hard ass, but I mean, there's some good qualities about him too. I mean, you can relate with him, but they do make him to seem kind of like a jerk or something. But and then there's the Machine Gun Kelly, the white gangster type, who's covered in tattoos and whatnot. But and then at the end, when they go to the place for the blind, I guess the guy who leads them in there is a white guy, but he's blind. And then amongst all the blind people, there's a lot of diversity too. This guy pointed that out. But it's interesting though. Why isn't there so much diversity amongst the villains in the movie? I think that is something that is significant. When I was focusing on all the good guys in the movie, the cast, and I wasn't thinking about all the bad guys, and they are all white. So, and apparently there's a lot of allegories here with people being blind to because they have to wear blindfolds because they can't look at whatever it is that's making them kill themselves. And it's like we're blind to our own racism or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, just that's just another thought. Still, that doesn't completely ruin the movie for me. I don't like it after I've learned about that, but uh, it's still a decent movie, so that's fine. I don't really watch a lot of recent movies all the time. I've been getting back into it a little bit, but I'm more into the classics and stuff. But I figured to give this one a try. I have a Netflix account that I barely use. I love Stranger Things. That's one of my favorite shows on Netflix. That's a reason to get Netflix. But besides that, I don't really bother with it. So I figured to get some use out of it. But yeah, I need to kind of pay attention about that. How they're casting these roles and these characters, and are they trying to demonize white men more, I guess. So just some more thoughts. Thanks for watching.